she said. I'm leaving you because you are too emotionally cold and never show any affection. I replied, I understand. I waited 2 months until her sister's wedding. I introduced her to my new girlfriend during the reception. It was her other sister, her maid of honor. We are aiming for 1,000 subscribers. Your support brings us closer. Subscribe and be part of the journey. I, 30 male, had been with Ava, 28, for 4 years. I was a forensic accountant for a large firm in Philadelphia, earning a salary of $130,000. She was an associate curator for a contemporary art gallery in Old City, making around $85,000. We lived in a beautifully restored Trinity house in Society Hill. Our life was a performance of sophisticated taste. We had memberships to the art museum, reservations at places like Vetri Cucina, and a social calendar dictated by gallery openings and charity galas. Our friends were her friends, a collection of artists, collectors, and critics. One brisk October afternoon, my career path took a sharp turn. I was offered a director position within my firm. The role was to build and lead a new forensic accounting division, a massive undertaking. The offer came with a base salary of $220,000, a $40,000 signing bonus, and a clear track to a partnership. The only complication, in Ava's view, was the location. The new division was based in Dallas, Texas. That evening, I explained the opportunity to her in our meticulously designed living room. She listened with an air of detached amusement. Dallas, she asked, a small, incredulous laugh in her voice. You want to move from the cradle of liberty to the capital of strip malls. For what? More money. I detailed the leadership responsibilities, the challenge of building a team. My entire world is here. Ben, she said, gesturing around the room as if it were her gallery. The art scene, my contacts, my reputation. You're asking me to trade that for a cultural wasteland. It's a step backward for us. It's simply not an option. The topic was not up for debate. Update 1. I told Ava I needed a few days to think it over. In reality, I had already begun negotiating the final terms of the offer. Confident that she had quashed my foolish impulse, Ava became more condescending. She started treating my ambition as a joke among her friends. Ben almost moved us to Texas to become a cowboy accountant. She would announce at dinner parties. Can you imagine the art scene there? Her friends would offer me looks of pity, their smiles tinged with superiority. They saw my dream job as a threat to their curated lifestyle. No one asked about the role or the firm. They just accepted her narrative that it was a provincial, career-ending mistake. I felt like an exhibit in her gallery, a curiosity to be explained away. So, I started planning my exit in silence. I opened a new bank account with a national bank and had the signing bonus deposited there. I began researching modern condos in Dallas's vibrant uptown neighborhood. I started selling off some of my antique maps and rare books, telling her I was embracing a more minimalist aesthetic. Each transaction was a quiet step toward a life that was my own. Update 2. A month before my new start date, I told her I had made my decision. I sat her down on our expensive velvet sofa, the one she had picked out from a design magazine. I told her I had accepted the director position and that my move was already in motion. I explained that I wanted her to come, that we could build a new life together, one based on our own values, not the expectations of the Philadelphia art scene. Her calm, curated composure vanished. It was replaced by a cold, sharp anger. You did this behind my back, she asked. I tried to have a conversation with you, I answered. You refused to listen. Because it was a fantasy, she said. Our life, the one we built, is here. No, Ava, I replied quietly. This is the life you curated. I am just a part of the collection. The ultimatum was delivered with the precision of a surgeon. You either call them tomorrow and turn it down, or this relationship is over, she stated. Choose. I looked at her, at the woman who valued my presence only as it reflected on her. The choice was not between two cities, it was between her world and my own self-respect. My lease in Dallas starts next month, I said. Update 3. The final weeks in our house were a quiet, suffocating ordeal. Ava moved into the guest room, communicating only through terse, formal texts. She cycled through periods of silent fury, tearful pleading, and dismissive anger. She accused me of betraying her, of being selfish, of throwing away our perfect life. Her apologies felt like strategic maneuvers designed to win a negotiation. I remained detached and methodical. I packed my belongings, box by box, the sound of sealing tape a steady rhythm in the otherwise silent house. It felt like I was archiving a part of my life that was over. On moving day, she was gone. She had left a note on the polished kitchen counter. I hoped this was worth it. My first morning in Dallas was bright and clear. I stood on the balcony of my new condo, a spacious corner unit with panoramic views of the city skyline. The energy of the city felt different, optimistic and forward-looking. I drove my new car, a sleek Genesis G80, to my new office in a modern skyscraper. The space was new, the team was mine to build, and the work was challenging. For the first time in years, I felt a sense of ownership over my own life. Update 4. The next 6 months in Dallas were a whirlwind of activity. I built my team from the ground up, hiring the best forensic accountants in the country. We quickly landed a major case, uncovering a complex international fraud scheme that had baffled federal investigators. The work was intense and deeply satisfying. I discovered a new social life, one built around shared interests in live music, good food, and exploring the Texas landscape. My financial situation had never been better. After we successfully closed the fraud case, the firm awarded me and my team a significant bonus. My share was $75,000. I was building a life of substance. Then, I received a tentative, friendly email from Ava's younger sister, Chloe. She was the maid of honor in her other sister's upcoming wedding. She said she was sorry for how things had ended, and that she always thought I was a good person. It was the first time anyone from Ava's world had shown me any real kindness. It was then that Ava's parting words came back to me. She had called me emotionally cold. I realized she equated affection with my willingness to finance her lifestyle and support her social ambitions. Update 5. My firm's success on the fraud case was featured in a Wall Street Journal article. The piece highlighted my role in building the new division and leading the investigation. It included a professional photo and my new title, Director of Forensic Investigations. The article circulated quickly. Ava saw it. Her first text was a single question mark. Her second was, "Director. Since when?" My brother called me, his voice full of apology. "Ben, I am so sorry. Ava told everyone you had a breakdown and took a low-level accounting job in some tiny firm. She made it sound like your career was over." The article had exposed her lie. Chloe texted me too. "I knew you were going to do great things," she wrote. "I'm proud of you." Her simple message meant more than all the apologies from my old friends. Update 6. Ava flew to Dallas a month later, unannounced. She was waiting for me in the lobby of my building. She looked impeccable, as always, but there was a new, desperate energy about her. "I made a terrible mistake," she said as we sat in a nearby coffee shop. I was scared. I let my ego get in the way. "I miss you, Ben." She told me she had changed, that she realized her career and the art scene were not as important as us. She wanted to move to Dallas, to start over. I listened patiently. When she finished, I just shook my head. "I saw your social media, Ava," I said calmly. "The posts about your new chapter and curating a better life. The photos of you at galas with that new artist you were promoting. That didn't look like regret. It looked like a rebrand." "I was trying to be happy," she insisted. "No," I replied. "You were networking. You were always networking." I told her there was no chance of us getting back together. Update 7. Her attempt at reconciliation failed, so she resorted to sabotage. She began a quiet smear campaign, contacting former colleagues and mutual acquaintances, painting a picture of me as an unstable, bitter man who had abandoned her. It was a pathetic attempt to rewrite history. During this time, my conversations with Chloe became more frequent. We talked on the phone for hours, discovering a deep and surprising connection. She was kind, funny, and intelligent, with a warmth and sincerity that Ava had always lacked. We were building a friendship, a real one, based on honesty and mutual respect. Ava's online claims eventually collapsed under their own weight. Her stories were too dramatic, too self-serving. People who knew me, even casually, saw the contradictions. She lost her credibility. Update 8. A year after the move, my life was settled and happy. I was a respected leader in my firm. My relationship with Chloe had quietly blossomed into something more. We had been dating long distance for a few months, keeping it a secret from her family until the time was right. We knew the revelation would be complicated. Ava sent me one last, long email. It was a rambling mix of apology and self-pity. She said she had destroyed the best thing in her life. I replied with a short, polite message. I wish you peace, Ava. I then booked my flight to Philadelphia for her sister's wedding. Final update. I arrived at the wedding reception as a guest of the family. I saw Ava across the room. She was holding court, a tragic, beautiful figure telling stories to a sympathetic audience. She caught my eye and gave me a small, pitying smile, as if I were a ghost from a past she had transcended. I just smiled back. Later in the evening, as the dancing began, Chloe, the stunning maid of honor, walked over to me. She took my hand in hers, her smile bright and genuine. We had decided this was the moment. The truth was better than whispers and secrets. I led her across the dance floor to where Ava was standing with her parents. Ava's smile faltered, replaced by a look of utter confusion. This was the moment that had been a year in the making. She said, "I'm leaving you because you are too emotionally cold and never show any affection." I replied, "I understand." I waited 2 months until her sister's wedding. I introduced her to my new girlfriend during the reception. It was her other sister, her maid of honor. The silence that followed was profound. Ava's face was a mask of disbelief and fury. Her parents looked from Chloe to me, their expressions a mixture of shock and dawning comprehension. Later that night, Chloe's parents found me by the bar. Her father shook my hand. "My daughter has never looked happier," he said quietly. "We were worried about her. Ava can be a lot." Her mother simply hugged me. "Be good to her," she whispered. Standing there with Chloe, I finally understood the true meaning of affection. It was not about grand gestures or public displays. It was about quiet support, unwavering belief, and the simple, profound act of seeing someone for who they truly are. I had finally found it.